see it.
That's right. Back in middle school, Milk Dad and I would.
No, this was high school.
Oh, high school. Back in high school. Yes, yes. This was in high school. Back in high school, Milk Dad and I would like crash at each other's house. We had these sleepovers, and we'd do like all weekend, like Friday to like Sunday, and it would usually get to like Saturday night, and we'd be like, "Oh, we're freaking so bored. We've done everything together for the last."
Played Smash.
What?
Like for days straight.
We would
just play
we would
Smash.
play Smash for like hours and hours and hours. But then we'd get like bored and we'd be like, all right, we gotta go do something else. And we used to go down to the pet store. Scalper, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Petco.
Petco next to the bagel place. And
Yeah, I know.
and GameStop. And
really lay out a map, huh?
yeah.
Well, we have to preface this with the one story before
Yeah. So before we get to the geckos part, we would just watch YouTube videos, and back then everything that was popular was like prank videos and stuff like that. So we started doing the dollar on a string, where you just put like an invisible, you put like a clear piece of string, and people are like, oh, look, $1, and then you pull the string, and you're like, I got him.
You tried to do that to people?
Oh, we did it.
We did it.
We did it. We didn't
awesome.
try it. We did it. It was great. Some people got really butthurt about it. And other people were like, ah. And so we did that for like a half hour. And then we were like, all right, let's go get geckos. And so we go to the pet store. And this is total bull crap. I think that like the employee just saw us and was like, I'm not letting these freaking punks buy anything in here. We're like, yo, we want some geckos. And they're like, no, you got to be 18 to buy geckos. And we were not 18 yet. So we were like, this is the dumbest thing ever. So we was like wicked pissed. I was like, I wanted geckos bad. Like, I got it in my head. So we went back out to like one of the other stores, and we were like doing the dollar on a string. And there was like this old Russian dude who was like with this like young girl, and
that we did the dollar on the
we
string
did the dollar on
trick.
the string to
And
them.
they thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, they loved it, man. They were like, oh, this is very good. And we were like, I was like, these guys seem really chill. I was like, Milk Dad, let's ask them to buy us geckos. So first, I gotta say this. First, when we get to the Petco, we're like, we want to buy geckos, and the lady's like, why? Like, who? What? What do you mean? I want a pet. Like, so she's like, why do you want geckos? Do you want to cook them and eat them? Like, that's legit what she says to us. And we're like,
yes,
we're like,
100%.
we're like,
this is what she actually said.
We're like, what? We're not psychos. We just want to play with a lizard. Like, lizards are cool. Like, we just want lizards. And so then we go and we do the dollar on the string to the Russian dude. And I'm like, dude, I think we should ask this guy to buy us lizards. And Milk Dad's like, no, that's stupid. He's never gonna do it. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ask him. I'm like, sir, like we did, the trick to you. Like you thought it was funny. Like, do you mind helping us out? Like we really want to buy lizards. Like we want to get lizards, but you have to be 18. Can you buy us lizards? And he's like, let me think. And then he's like,
wait, this is my favorite part
goes,
to tell.
you go.
Well, he's like, oh, I don't know about this. And his Russian wife is like, get him the geckos, get him the geckos.
Get him the geckos. Get him the geckos. Yeah. She was like, just do it. And he goes, well, are you going to eat them? And we're like, what? Like, why does everyone think we're going to eat these geckos? We just want to play with geckos. We're like, no, that's you. Why? So we go back, and the lady was like so pissed that like we were back to buy geckos, like with like this Russian lady. She's like, we get you geckos, no worry. And so we're like, what do we feed them? And the lady's like, you need crickets. Like she was so pissed. We're like, all right, give us some crickets then. So we bought the crickets, and we bought the geckos, and we took it back to his house, and we didn't even really plan anything out about it. We walked back to his house, and we're like, wait a minute, we don't have an enclosure. So we took like some kind of cardboard box that was like rectangular but tall. And we're like,
That's
we just dug up some dirt from his backyard and threw it in with a rock and like a leaf, and we're like, wait a minute, we need a top for it. So you know the netting from the ice pops bags.
Oh yeah, that's what we used.
We cut it open and we just put it right over the top, and we're like, yeah, this looks good. This looks good. And then we like Googled it. And we're like, oh, they need a heat lamp. So Milk Dad's like, I have a regular lamp. So we just put the regular lamp like shining into the box, and we're like, hopefully it'll get warm. It's an incandescent bulb, so like it should be good. So we're like, yeah. So the next we go to sleep. We wake up. We're like, are our geckos there? We're like, they're there! Yeah! We dump a bunch of crickets in, and they all, like, half of them jump out because like the top is like not secure at all. So there's crickets all over his basement,
hopping around.
Like,
I couldn't do anything about it.
We're like, oh gosh. And so then we're like, let's take out our geckos and play with them. And so we're like, if anyone walked into the basement, it would just look so weird. The two of us sitting on the floor, like across from each other, like tee hee hee, ha ha ha. We're like playing with these geckos, like having them run back and forth to us. And so I'm like, watch out, they're like kind of quick. And so one gecko is like looking at Milk Dad, and he's like, yeah, and he tries to juke him. And so Milk Dad's gut reaction is to put his knee down. And he puts his knee down. This is day one of owning geckos. This man puts his knee down and cuts the tail off the gecko. And so he feels the crunch on his knee, and he's like, ah! And lifts his knee up immediately, and the gecko, boom, darts right out the room, and there's the tail just freaking out in the middle of the floor, and he's like, ah! I killed it! And we're like, oh, the tail! There's like a little pile of blood, like a little pool of blood, and the tail is just freaking out for like 10 minutes, and we both are out, like at the door, like, we're just watching this tail from the door, like, and we're like, where's the gecko? We couldn't find the gecko anywhere. We're like, oh, his mom's gonna kill us, and she finds the gecko. And so we immediately put the other gecko back in. And I'm like, okay, you know, in a couple days you got to go back to the pet store and you got to get more crickets. And we're like, okay, cool. And so I called him like every day that week. I'm like, did you find our baby? Did you find our baby? He's like, I can't find the gecko. I don't know where it is. So flash forward to like 6 months later, dude. Like 6 months later.
No, it wasn't that long. It was maybe like 2 weeks later.
Flash forward to 9 years later. and I get a call. You know, I think the one gecko that was there probably had died. I don't remember if it died or you let it go. Cause you were like, I think you were like, I can't handle the pressure. So, so flash forward to 2 weeks, 9 months, whatever you want to believe, to a period of time indefinitely in the future. And Milk Dad calls me at like 9 o'clock, and he's like, dude, you won't believe what just happened. And I'm like, what? He's like, my mom, she just came over to me and she was like, I just found a gecko in the basement. And he was like, what? And she's like, yeah, he was like at the top of the stairs, like right at the door. Like this gecko climbed up the stairs and was trying to get out of the house. And she was like, it was the weirdest thing ever. I just put it outside, and Milk Dad's like, yep, super weird. Don't know how a gecko could have ever gotten into the house. That's.
Yeah, she was like, I think there's a family of geckos living in the basement. And to this day, she doesn't know.
Yeah, that. Dude, no idea. There were so many. We bought 100 crickets, and we're just like, we just dumped them all in, and there were so many crickets all over this man's bedroom.
We didn't expect them. We didn't expect them, like how fast they're gonna fall out.
Yeah,
like,
we were like, okay, a couple. It was like,
and we're like, oh, this gecko hasn't eaten in like 2 days. It's definitely gonna go after them.
Yeah,
it did not go after them.
Yeah,
we just jumped around.
Yep, it was terrible. We were definitely the worst pet owners of
Terrible.
all time.
Terrible.
That is just
That
one.
is absolutely the worst